Yeah, it's trying to do it. Yes.
Okay, so
Now
welcome everybody.
it seems to work.
We are online. Okay, so we'll make a short introduction again. So this is a webinar about yacht design. We are hosting here as guest speaker Professor Massimo Musio-Sale from the University of Genoa. And I was saying that the professor is one of the founder of the department of yacht design in the University of Genoa. That is also my home university. And together with the other professor of the department, Professor Massimo Musio-Sale was making some exchange programs with the University of Miami in Florida and Valenciennes Institut Supérieur de Design and the Maltepe University in Istanbul. So now we are officially inviting him to have a little presentation about the Mediterranean style. That is the style that characterizes the boats that we can see and admire on our sea and coast and in all the ports around here. And it's something that can put us together from Cyprus to Italy. So now I will let you the word. You can start your presentation. And thank you to be here with us today.
Thank you, Martina, for inviting me. I will be very much honored to take part of your class. It's so good to stay in the class, even if from remote. But I will be pleased to join you and to talk about the Mediterranean style of yacht design, because I consider this issue is something that connects people in such kind of countries around the southern of Europe. So it's very interesting to talk about this style and this language about the way to do and to produce, to make boats in the Mediterranean. Well, first of all, Mediterranean, is the sea that connects from Turkey to Spain, all the southern of Europe, and the boat itself is the vehicle more popular, more antique existing, that connects all lands of the southern Europe. Well, we can consider this as the starting point of the new age of the way to produce pleasure craft in the modern times. Because we have some reason about that. First of all, we can consider the Mediterranean is really the starting point of all the culture of the modern world, from the Turkish tradition to the Greek tradition to the Roman tradition. In the old times, such kind of people are the ones from where belonging all the modern Western countries and all the way we are living today. And so, because of this, arts and crafts are very much important in such kind of cultures, and still remains something very peculiar that is the characteristics of the way to work for the people of the Mediterranean and from Italy in particular. Italy, in detail, is a sort of peninsula dropping down from north to south in the middle of the Mediterranean and connecting from west to east. So we can say that from Italy we have the West Mediterranean and the East Mediterranean. Well, in this case, Italy is very much balanced in different cultures, and because of this, is a country that joined the craftsman tradition to the industry way of producing. So this junction between craftsmanship and industry is really the peculiar way that somehow was the base of what the Americans say the Mediterranean style in yacht design. Why we can recognize the Mediterranean style? Because this is a quite a balance, as a balance in between different purpose joined together to promote the way to be somehow satisfied of the product, to stay afloat, enjoying the life on sea. So we know that after the World War II, the pleasure crafts and the nautical field has been very much developed according to the industrial techniques. And so the Americans were the first people who developed popular boats, so used inside waterways and the lakes, by producing some serial production of crafts, starting from wooden production first, but then later on with different materials, such as composite materials, plastics, and so on. Well, this way to change the material changed also the way to do boats. In this first image, like the cover of the presentation, we have a very old traditional wooden boat jointed to an early Fiat 500 of the year 50 together. Well, the Fiat 500 represents somehow the new age of the industrial construction in automotive field, where the old fisherman boat made by wood represents somehow the tradition of the Mediterranean constructions on wood. This in particular belongs to a Ligurian construction, but is very much similar to the ones built in Malta or in Turkey or in Greece or in Spain, wherever in the Mediterranean. Because such kind of sailing fisherman boats was really the craft that connects all the different people in trades of cheese, in trades of wines, of oils, and of the primary food in between all the different countries of the Mediterranean. Well, after the World War II, the trades are being served by bigger ships made by steel, so motor ships instead of sailing boats like these. And the small crafts like that was being converted into some pleasure crafts. So we can go over. Let me see how I can control it right here. All right. This next is still a sailing boat, but this sailing boat made by wood changed very much the looking compared to the previous one. You see, this is a cabin cruiser. Is a sailing cruiser built by a very famous Ligurian yacht yard named San Germani, which was so famous for the kind of finishing of the interior and the exterior. You see, compared to the previous image, the previous one was very much, how can I say, raw in the construction, where this is very much finished, glossy, and care in all details, because this kind of craft was dedicated to the pleased of day on board. So, what does it mean? It means that the most precious time of the life of a people is the one we are going to spend what we would like to do. Yachtman is a person who likes very much to sail on the sea. But the yachtman is also a person who likes very much the way of having excellent construction, excellent finishing of details, and also the ownership of such kind of boat is really a satisfaction for the owner, both by the point of view of the navigation and by the point of view of the, how can I say, the ownership itself. So take care of his own boats is really one of the attitudes of the yachtman. That's why the finishing is so much important in such kind of boats. Well, of course, the yachts start to be mostly sailing yachts, especially in the beginning, because the mechanical engine's performance at the old time was very, very low, and so not satisfying at all. But after a while, I mean, changing mind, you see, even the engines are going to be much more power and much more performance. So even the power boats are going to be some satisfying issue for such kind of people. So we have two typologies of yachtmen: the ones who like much more to sail by sails and wind, and the ones who like very much the speed and the performance in the ocean, and they are the ones who somehow founded this kind of gentleman races named offshore, so away from the shore. So these are the very uh, early race that cross the seas from one side to the other, going to island and back, or in the United States, connecting Bahamas, Bimini with Miami, for instance, crossing the Atlantic Oceans. So, from one side, we have the poor yachtman who likes the sailing boats, and the other one, the ones more connected to the automobile races, much more connected to the power boats, like this. In particular, this boat is so famous because it has signed by one of the masters designer of the history of yachting, and this master has been called Renato Sonni Levi, and this was one of the guys who invented such kind of V bottom. I don't know if you are able to follow my pointer. I'm going to indicate with my pointer the bottom design. So the design of the hull itself is very much deep and narrow. And due to this form, such kind of boat was very much efficient navigating with rough sea. And due to these forms, all the offshore boat was being developed according to the Levy design and the Raymond Hunt design in the United States. Let's go away again. What we are looking here is another typology of very famous, uh, uh, very famous motorboat. This belongs to the Cantieri Riva, so Riva Yacht Yards. Uh, Riva Yacht Yards takes the name to the founder, which was the family Riva, and the base was on a lake in northern Italy. But the big, uh, uh, let me say, the big success of Cantieri Riva arrives in the year between the 50s and the 60s, according to a journey that Carlo Riva has taken in the United States. When Carlo Riva uh, visited the United States, he was very much interested in importing the 8V engines from the American production for big blocks of the big American cars to fit such kind of power engine in his own construction at Cantieri Riva in northern Italy. Also, he joined the yard Chris-Craft in the United States, which was a very famous yacht yard, and somehow understand the way to design a, a pleasure craft like the American style, but in the Italian feeling. The same time of year 50 and 60, you have to consider that a very famous Italian cinema director, Federico Fellini, has produced a very famous movie called La Dolce Vita. La Dolce Vita, so the sweet heart, the sweet life, we can say, in fact, is a story in Rome of the year 60s, where the main actor, Marcello Mastroianni, interprets himself in the way of life of Rome of that times. And in that moment, Rome was really somehow the capital of the good way of life, even for the Hollywood people that appreciate very much to live in Italy and in Rome in particular. And somehow this kind of yacht, this kind of boat, reflects the style and the mood of La Dolce Vita. In fact, we say the Riva Acquarama, which is this boat in particular, which is you can see is a glossy finishing, is mahogany painted with 16 sheets of varnish, so very much expensive to produce, is something they call like a violin production. So it's very much top class of construction, represents really the touch of luxury in the marine field. Is something not so big, but very much expensive. Still now, because now is a connoisseur's item, not anymore produced. So if you like to own one of these, you have to pay because it's a collection appointment. You can find in Sotheby's, maybe you can find somewhere, or from B2B, from private to private. You cannot buy in the market. You can buy by looking and searching for having one of those kind of boats. Well, this is somehow the representation of the top class of luxury, and represent also the Italian way of construction very much. The Riva Acquarama still is very much considered. Now, going to the next. Who is she? Everybody knows and recognizes this is Brigitte Bardot. So is the French muse also somehow represent the French country, both as an actress and both as an image. And this kind of boat is still another Riva, is called Riva Florida. It was belonging the personal craft from Brigitte Bardot, who likes very much to spend her free time in Saint-Tropez during the year 60 on board her boat. So the ownership of this Riva, and people say that this Riva was a gift that Carlo Riva offered for free to Brigitte Bardot, because Carlo Riva understands then that if Brigitte Bardot was riding on board his own craft, this was the best advertising for selling his craft all around the Mediterranean and the United States. And that was true. So because of this strategic choice of marketing, Riva also was very much appreciated, because all the magazine of gossip all around Europe taking pictures of Brigitte Bardot on board the Riva, and everybody would like to own Riva like Brigitte Bardot does at that time. So that's why. And so going on, we can see also the way to build a serious production, but still made by wood, because Riva at that time, in that time, was wooden making, wooden construction. So that means that one by one has been constructed. Now, minutes are going on very quickly, so I have to run much more in my explanation. But consider that this series is still one by one construction. What can change after a while? Change because the technology changes. From the from the solid wood construction, we turn into the plywood construction, like such kind of baglietto yachts designed by Paolo Cagliari, one of the signature of the year 60 and 70 of the Mediterranean style, who designed very much for baglietto. Such kind of boats still are made by wood, but by plywood. What the difference? The difference is that the solid wood construction is made by stripes bended one by one to realize all the side, all the bottom, all the deck, all the superstructure. When we are going to produce by plywood, we have sheets like paper sheets. So we can bend in one direction only. So you can see even here, this is straight, is bended on the other sense. You see, is one sense bending, but the acceleration of the construction was very much efficient in the series construction. That's why even Baglietto, which was another very famous Italian yacht, has been presented to the stage of the market of the year 60 and 70 with very much success in his production. And this in particular was very much important, like a keyword, a milestone in the Baglietto production. This in particular is the 1650 meters. Consider this yacht designed like we can say like a cruise ship, because we have the pilot house in the front, the saloon in the back, opposite of what the Americans was doing before, and introducing really the Mediterranean typology. The American recognized the Mediterranean typology due to this solution in particular. So Mediterranean style you can recognize because we can have a veranda right here in the back, strictly connected to the main saloon. So inside and outside are very much close each other. So the life on board, you can enjoy the shade outside, the wind protected, and the interior in one time, between in and out. While your pilot house is in the front, you can control properly the boat, and the boat itself is much more similar to a real ship than a pleasure craft as before. So this really was the milestone and the base where all the Mediterranean yacht style was following. And this idea belongs to the pencil of a very famous Italian designer, which is called Paolo Cagliari. Paolo Cagliari was an architect, graduated at the Politecnico of Turin, and was starting working for Avvocato Gianni Agnelli, who really actually was the owner of Fiat Automotive Company. So was a very much important person in Italy, but in all the world. In Italy, we was named Gianni Agnelli as the prince. Everybody knows the prince as Gianni Agnelli. He was very much rich. He was very much glamour. He was very much worldwide known in all the worldwide business. And everything Gianni Agnelli was decided to do was somehow a touch of fashion. Everybody was following him. Even the way to host his watch, because he was inventing the way to wear the watch over the shirt like this, and mostly many people following his way to do this because Gianni Agnelli was doing this as first. So he was really somebody who teach the way to live the dolce vita, the Italian way of life. And Gianni Agnelli also was a custom of Cantieri Baglietto, and one of the very first designs of Paolo Cagliari was the GA30. GA30 was a special class of Baglietto designed by Paolo Cagliari, and after that Paolo Cagliari started to design for Cantieri Baglietto also. This GA30 was the very somehow mood of the Mediterranean model yacht, designed especially for Gianni Agnelli. And GA30 was the name because it was the 30th birthday of Gianni Agnelli. That was the name of the yacht, GA30. After that, he has the GA40, the F100, all the names belonging to Gianni Agnelli yachts. GA40 is for the 40th birthday, GA50 for the 50th birthday, and the F100 was the century foundation of the Fiat factory. He decided to build a very huge explorer boat called F100 because of this. Was really one Prince Gianni Agnelli. Now Paolo Cagliari again. This is, we can consider, the masterpiece of Paolo Cagliari, and also a turnover in the Mediterranean style. So when Mediterranean style abandoned somehow the style of the hyper-decorated Riva Aquarama, which a lot of chromes, a lot of elements like the American cars, full of decoration, going to the minimal style. But we are talking about 1969, so very much early to the year 2010 of the minimal style we are living today. In 1969, Paolo Cagliari understood very early that was the time to design a craft specially designed for the plywood construction. And this Tiger, called Tiger, this small yacht, was designed according to the mood of 007. You know 007, the very famous secret agent of MI6, the UK secret agency, intelligence agency. And from that time, 007, James Bond, opened a way of life of the playboy, you know, the man who never asked for having girls, having success in the world. Even this kind of boat reflects that kind of way of life, because consider this is an 11-meter length cabin cruiser, but this kind of boat has hosting for people, only 2 people in one king-size bed. That's all. So actually, this is a floating hotel suite. It's not like a cabin cruiser we were used to have at that time, crowded of people for all the family. This was thinking only for 2 people. We can see better in the next slide going ahead. Well, this is a side view. Well, this is interesting for 2 reasons. One is the color. The color you see is an acid yellow color, where all the boats were painted white or painted blue. Classic yachts are white or blue. You can see the skyline of those boats, and in the background we can see a traditional boat. You can see how much difference was the skyline of this boat compared to the old ones. This picture has taken in the 1979 when the Tiger has been launched. You see all the detailing, such kind of black spots for air intakes in the machinery rooms. Who remember somehow something very much roaring very much aggressive in the style, where the elegance was the key of the traditional ones. You see the old ones in the background with also this orange funnel. Who remember a small ship? This has no funnel at all. This is an aircraft landed on the sea. It's something totally different. And the interior, we go to see the interior. This is the interior of the Tiger. You can see, you drop on here in the cockpit, you can have a sunbed area, a small terrace that welcome you in the main lounge, and the lounge has just a sofa and a bar for having some appetizer first, and then a door that opens you to the cabin. But this is not a cabin. This truly is a hotel suite, because you have the private bathroom with bidet, including the bidet, oriented and dedicated to the cabin. And this is not a kitchen, it's not a galley, it's a bar. This is totally different. In 11 meter, this kind of key solution offer the room only for 2 people. This is a totally change of the paradigm of the way to design a boat. And this opens a new era, a new age in the way of construction. In a parallel way, 1972 other master designs according to the technology of construction by plywood first, and then we can talk about aluminum, metal, or by composite material and fiberglass, are going to design excellent Mediterranean monoreals. One of those is this, belonging to Cantieri di Pisa and designed by another master designer named Pierluigi Spadolini. Pierluigi Spadolini were one of my mentors, as well as Paolo Cagliari, of course. Both of them are passed away, unfortunately, but they leave us a lot of teachments, and we are proud to be part of their knowledge. You can consider, wow, this S-shaped side, so poor in the design, so geometry was designed in a few poor elements. The same kind of I can say of changes where Adolf Loos appears during the eclecticism of the architecture. So make naked all the superstructures in order to evaluate the poor geometrical elements, few elements and pure. You see, even the portholes on the sides are taken in a black stripe in order to have optically one line that define, like an eyeliner, just a stripe for all the portholes. And then still present the veranda in the cockpit and the connection inside-outside between veranda and main saloon. Excellent construction belonging to the Italian craftsman yards like Balietto or Cantieri di Pisa also evaluate such kind of excellent construction, like here. On the other side, the fast boat, designed by Renato Sonelevi, I mentioned in the beginning, here is somehow represented by the Drago. Drago is a plywood construction. It's not a plywood construction. In fact, is laminated wood made by Italcraft. Is a yacht yard in near Rome in Fiumicino, and this was very much fast and the fastest worldwide fastest yacht for a long time with diesel engines. Consider that in 1973 diesel engines were not so performance as diesel engines are today. Diesel engines belong to trucks or belongs to lorries. So huge, heavy, and with very few horsepower, not performance as today. So this kind of craft, even with diesel, was very much performance according to the solution of the surface propeller patented by Renato Soni Levi, which offers a very excellent ratio in between horsepower and speed. Same principle of surface propeller has been taken by Renato Soni Levi in this application specially made for Cantieri Riva. Cantieri Riva was the construction of Riva Aquarama, we remember. But now Renato Soni Levi, together with Giorgio Barilani, who designed the style of such kind of boat, designed it for Carlo Riva, this wonderful fiberglass boat with 3 petrol engines and surface propellers by Renato Soni Levi, called in 1975 Riva 2000. Imagine that the year 2000 was the 21st century. At that time was quite far away and was representing the future. So in 1975, this design was considered absolutely a futuristic design. It was quite a successful craft, and this design was for 2 people as well, the Tiger, but in a design of much more sporty boat than a Mediterranean motor yacht. But still, what we can consider one of the masterpieces of the Mediterranean designs, our Riva production in particular. What's going on the sale market in parallel? This was being one of the early construction belonging to the Cantieri Ferretti. Ferretti now is presently a huge group that is a group that has a reunion of so many different brands. But at that time, 1975, Ferretti was belonging from a factory who was building industrial kitchens and was converted into the marine field by Norberto Ferretti and his brother. They start introducing this kind of sailing yacht design. Why I show you this sailing yacht design? Because in fact, actually, this is not a poor sailing yacht, but this is a motor sailor. So it's something, a typology in between motor yacht and sailing yacht. So it's something which is a hybrid class. Now we are used to consider hybrid in the positive meaning because of the automobile takes us to the hybrid as a positive way to approach to the best performance available. But at the time, hybrid was not considered totally positive because the sailing yachtman doesn't like to have something hybrid, and the motor yachtman doesn't like to have something sailing. So it's something smart. I consider smart for spending the free time on the sea, and also smart by the point of view of the design because offers the availability and the roomy of a motor yacht jointed with the silence and the peaceful way of life of the sailboat. But no one of them was poor in their character. Should be maybe a little bit old age like I am to appreciate much more such kind of adult way of stay on the sea. This was called altura. Altura in Italian means blue shore boat. And this altura 42 is 42 footer, so is about something like 12 meter long, offers availability for hosting a good family and friends on board, offers protection to control the boat from inside and from outside for good weather and bad weather, and offer a very comfortable interior layout similar to the motor yacht tradition. Alberto Mercati was the designer, but Alberto Mercati was a designer more famous for the motor yacht design than for the sailing yacht design. That's why he interprets so well the motor yacht feeling into the sail yacht. We can consider this also a masterpiece of that time, of early design. Opposite this Franchini 47 follows much more the feeling of the French style design of sailing yachts. Was designed by Massimo Franchini, which was at once the owner of the yard and the designer. Massimo Franchini is an architect, so also he is designer, and he designs this central cockpit design with the aft cabin, central lounge, and front cabin. So according to a feeling of the French school. This boat has been designed to be produced as the Ferretti in composite material. Both Ferretti and Franchini also helps the way to import the construction in fiberglass that one by one has gone to be more popular than the plywood in the serious construction. Well, we are jumping in the end of the 70s, introducing you one Itama 38. What is this craft? This has been designed by Itama, Mr. Amati. If you read Itama from right to left, is A-M-A-T-I, so Amati is the same name on the reverse. Mr. Amati interprets the Magnum Marine 38 into the Italian way, doing exactly the same process that Carlo Riva has done for the Aquarama in the year 50. So Carlo Riva was looking at the Chris Craft American powerboats and interpreted American powerboats in the Italian way. Mr. Amati looked at the American Magnum Marine 38, which was designed by Donald Aronow and produced in Miami, and redesigned the same boat, inspiring with the Italian feeling. In fact, the interior design of such kind of Itama was being designed by a very famous Roman studio design called Studio Sturchio, who designed a wonderful lacquered interior design for such kind of Itama. Going ahead, this was the early Itama, but at the same time also, roughly, Italy participated with the very first America's Cup with Andrea Vallicelli in 1983 and affirmed the Italian yachting in the international world in Newport. And also this belongs to the signature of Franco Harrauer for Alfa Marine in Fiumicino with this wonderful Kronos 83, which matches the concept design of the Mediterranean motor yacht. You can see and recognize in the back because of the veranda and the layout of the saloon, but in the feeling of the aircraft construction. In fact, we can see this interesting proposal, which is a side-by-side design, somehow what we call the wide body design, like an aircraft body. So this is not anymore a boat, it's an aircraft body with the bottom design in the hull and with the pilot house above. Something very much modern designed in early the year 80. Going ahead, also in the year 80, still Paolo Cagliari, the interpret the experience of Tiger, the experience of other boats for Cantieri Arno in the Leopard Sport, which has been constructed in fiberglass instead that plywood. So the serious construction is going to be more and more popular, where the sport boat design assisted to a giant dimensioning that is still present and continuing up to date even today. This is one of the most poor samples of Mediterranean motor yacht, designed by the same designer of the Ferretti Altura we've seen before, which is Alberto Mercati, and Adler, which is a one-off design in aluminium, has been constructed by Baglietto Yard, and we can consider this one of the most poor design of Mediterranean craft. Still today, we can say this is a timeless design, absolutely a timeless design, but really awesome. We can go ahead, and this is the design of Andrea Valicelli, same designer of Azzurra, the very first Azzurra, who participated to the Newport Regattas of America's Cup in 1984, who in 1990 designed this kind of boat that introduced such kind of interesting layout for the window of the main saloon. Main saloon here in the center, you can get in from here, and you have a wonderful lighting according to this design of Andrea Valicelli. Of course, the design of the sail yachts follows some special sail yachts ranking rules, and this is a too long description to be treated in this kind of presentation. But you know, the layout of the hull design of yachts has some special changes according to the regatta rules and to the materials more than the fashion itself. Still, this is another Cantieri di Pisa Acchie designed by Tommaso Spadolini in 1990. Still made by wood because Cantieri di Pisa keep the traditional construction even in the modern design. And rushing, going to the back to the end of the presentation, this is a Cantieri Posillipo near to Rome, designed by Gianni Zuccon, who is the designer of mostly all the Ferretti yachts, and now is Zuccon International Project, the studio, now managed by the sons of Gianni Zuccon, Martina and Bernardo Zuccon in Rome. They are in charge of the design mostly for Cantieri San Lorenzo. At that time, 1991, Gianni Zuccon was cooperating with Carlo Galeazzi. Now they are belonging to two separate firms, Gianni Zuccon, Zuccon International Design, and Carlo Galeazzi is Galeazzi and Minotti Designs. But Gianni and Carlo were related because the wife of Gianni Zuccon, Paola Galeazzi, were the cousin of Carlo Galeazzi. So at that time they cooperate for this kind of wide body design with huge full height windows designed for Cantieri Posillipo, named the series line of Tecnema. Introducing such kind of windows is one of the early presentation to imagine to have really an open window on the sea. This is very much interesting for the time. Consider we are in 1991 that time. Now going ahead, with a Chiquero, and you see how the boats are going to be bigger and bigger and bigger, going to the modern time. Now we talk about yachts of more than 100 meters length very often. But that time, we was talking about 30-meter as really a huge, huge yacht. This also is running up to the giant dimension for sailing yacht, and this Walligator was the very first construction belonging to the Cantieri Wally, now part of the group of Ferretti Group. But at that time, Wally was founded by this guy, Luca Bassani, which was an entrepreneur of the electric features called like BTCino, all switches for housing and plugs and such kind of features for the housing. And he was very much a passion of yachting, and he founded Wally Yacht due to the Walligator, the very first sailing yacht belonging to Luca Bassani, designed by Luca Brenta. And we are talking about 1991. After that, Luca Bassani continued to build more and more sailing yacht, but after a while he arrives also to the motor yachts. On the parallel way, in Turin, Mr. Paolo Vitelli, which was related somehow to the Prince of Italy, Gianni Agnelli, founded the Cantieri Azimut. Cantieri Azimut, you know, now is one of the group, the most important group of the Italian production, like Ferretti is, like San Lorenzo is. We can say that Azimut Benetti is one main group. San Lorenzo Group and Blue Game is another big group, and Ferretti Group and his big big number of brands is the third main group of Italy. But Azimut is one of the group because introducing the way of production by fiberglass and serious production, seriously. So this one is the AZ40, the very first interesting design, Azimut motor yacht, designed by Stefano Righini, styled by Stefano Righini, which was much more a stylist than a real architect and designer, but is a great stylist and designed well all the family feeling of the Azimut production. Well, going ahead, still Stefano Righini, you can recognize in such kind of fin design is the typical Stefano Righini mood, designed this kind of a classic 31st, so is the interpretation of a serious production boat, even for huge construction like Benetti, who belongs to the same group of Azimut, of course. Going ahead, again, this is a milestone in the design of motor yachts because changes very much the pragmatism of design. So introduce the real modern minimalism 30 years late than Tiger in the modern craft design due to the Luca Bassani vision. Is not Luca Brenta, the designer, here is a mistake, but it's Luca Bassani and the Roman Lazzarini and Pickering designers who designed this kind of craft. This is a jet turbine, crazy boat, one-off design, just one design for Stefano Bassani. We can say is a flop in the merchant because they just built one, never sold, but opens a way of thinking. Because after this design, all the boats changes. All the boats, according to this simple line, few elements design, was converted into the modern refrigerator style of boats we are going to participate right today. I say refrigerator style because, well, This is very straight, very much square, interesting and new. But since this is new, the other elements that was being burned after this, some are interesting, some less interesting. Let's go ahead again. This is designed by Mauro Micheli, Officina Italiana Design, for Riva. We can consider the Rivale the modern interpretation of the old Aquarama of the year 50. So the same kind of owner who owns an Aquarama in the year 60s is the same one who probably decide to own a Riva Rivale today. So is a modern boat, elegant, but well, we cannot say this is a minimal design. It's quite decorated and it's quite classical as well. But we can recognize the form quite round of the Riva Aquarama and possible to realize also because of the composite material technology that allows us to have this. Going quickly, in the modern technology of composite material, high performance class, giant boats, we can assist even to the Pershing designed by Fulvio De Simoni as a master class boat who represent the top performance model yacht in the series production according to the Italian and design model. Still a little bit Mediterranean model yacht, because even if small, we can recognize the veranda in the back and the connection first with the lounge and then going from back to the front and then to the bridge deck in the front. Now, in the modern time, what's going on? That the sailing yacht was very much up to date as something like a toy, a kind of toy to enjoy really the way to sail in the sea. And so we can assist to so many day sailor models available in the market right today. Or on the other way, this is the Nina J, which is almost a sister ship of the RM Baglietto design. The RC, sorry. The RC was the Roberto Cavalli yacht, and this is the sister ship Nina J, which was designed by Tommaso Spadolini in the outside design, with the interior design RC belonging to Roberto Cavalli directly, and this Nina J belonging to Ivana Porfiri for the interior. And is the yacht where Ivana Porfiri introduced the vertical garden, rear garden, even into a motor yacht design. San Lorenzo, we mentioned before, this is the alloy, the modern way to open some balconies in the side to participate to the life on the sea, even staying on board. Or this, which is the top sample of the glamour fast yacht, but still with the Mediterranean design, with the aft cockpit with the veranda, the interior inside connected with a top class fast commuter designed by Carlo Galeazzi for Cantieri Baia. Cantieri Baia in the 1990, maybe the 1999 or the 200, the 2000. We are going 10 years late. Dan Lenner and Carlo Nuvolari from Venice designed this craft quite traditionally for Monte Carlo yachts. Monte Carlo is, in fact, actually a yard placed in the Monfalcone Trieste, so quite away from Monte Carlo. But the name of Monte Carlo sounds very well in the market and remember us the Dolce Vita feeling. So it's a good name to offer for a brand. And Monte Carlo Yachts has been designed by Dan Lennar and Carlo Nuvolari from Venice, but the ownership of Monte Carlo Yachts belongs to the group Benetton Janot of France. But we can consider this is an Italian design as well, because designers belongs from Venice and construction belongs from Trieste. Again, everything is going to be giant, and even the rib, which means rib is a rigid inflatable boats, is a combination hybrid craft of inflatable sides, rigid hull design that combined in a hybrid craft combine the advantages of both the classes, having some kind of fender all around, like an excellent bumper for the craft and an excellent seakeeping done by the fiberglass bottom and high performance craft. So this kind of craft, which came from the working field, now is very much appreciated even in the present craft design. And now we can see many yards who design such kind of class, even of over 20-meter length, very big ones. This is a Sachs Strider, but we can see also some Pirelli. Pirelli is very famous for wheel cars manufacturer, but is a manufacturer also of rigid inflatable boats. Come on, and this again. Now we are going also to the giant, but to the slow cruising as a luxurious touch of the way of life on board in the market. Everything that is going to be slow can be appreciated. Consider what we can consider the slow food compared to the fast food. Slow cruise compared to the fast cruise is considered much more luxurious than fast cruise. Fast cruise is because you don't have time to spend. But the real luxury is to have time to be spent on sea. So what best than to spend in the slow cruising, appreciating all the smelling, all the life on the sea. So slow cruising is going to be more and more appreciated by such kind of class. And so the slow cruisers also are going to be appreciated. Due to the slow cruisers, we can enlarge the rooming and appreciate much more the interior design. So you can see how much the interior design is going to join what is the interior design in the housing, in the villas, in the flats of New York, in the flats of Côte d'Azur, in the flats of Miami, and so on. So we are going to have a melting pot of styles between housing and yachting, and more Archistars belonging to the housing field are going to operate in the marine field on board the yacht, because appreciated by owners that are in connection with such kind of designers because of their own villa. I don't know, in maybe on the mountain, maybe on Courmayeur or Cortina or St. Moritz or wherever, and they invite to be actors of the marine design as well. So we can assist to have yachts designed by Norman Foster's, yachts designed now by Renzo Piano, yacht designed by Philip Stark, and more, and so on and so on. So many landing designers and architects are going to be proud designers of yachts. Not all of them, of course, get a successful designs, but mostly there opens new way of designs. So this is a challenge in between the marine designers and the housing designers, somehow even in the yacht field, by understanding each other more and more, understanding that no markets are closed, but all markets has to be open to new challenges. And this is the key of your way of work in the future. You are young designers that are going to be future designer. So my personal suggestion is try to be open and flexible to all changes for your future work. And with this, I thank you for assisting to my lecture, and I open to your question if needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this, let's say, marathon in the history of Mediterranean style. It is, I made it. I mean, it was only 1 hour, but we went through 50 years of history, actually almost 70. So it was very nice to see how things changed, how the technology was making the difference. And I hope that now, since we are so lucky to live on a island surrounded by marinas and ports, when we are working home, the students can now understand what they are seeing and possibly recognizing those lines that are so typical of our Mediterranean style. So I don't know if anybody has any question. As interior designers, this can be probably a big possibility for your future. You may be called to participate in the design of super yacht or cruise ship. And once again, this is a land of that kind of business. So I hope that this was at least giving you some inspirations for the future. And thank you again for your time and for your presentation.
Thank you, Martina, for inviting me. It was a great pleasure to stay with you. I enjoy you all. I wish you all the best for your future and for the career and for the your teaching and the experiences in your Cyprus University. Enjoy.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Do you remember how you discovered the world around you? Can you hear the beat of life? Can you hear it by seeing it and feeling with all your senses? Hey, can you still hear it? There's something in you, driving you, calling you. Calling you in closer and closer. It's happening right now. Time to free your curiosity that's always in you. Now it's time to act. This is an act of discovery. It requires looking to the world in new ways. To answer for, but we're not offering you the answers. We are here to encourage your questions, but more important than the question is how you answer it. Try the ordinary, then try the unusual. To live is learn, and to learn is to live. Live, learn. It's an endless process. This is your path. This is your journey. You decide how it's going to be. Just enjoy every moment of it. We believe in design, keeping it simple but also significant. We believe in art for looking at the world with a unique perspective. We believe in creativity for communicating better with the world. Creativity takes courage. The future belongs to the curious. Come and experience it with